Harry. I am head of communications for HRC.
Okay.
So I mostly work with the Repsol Honda team and do all the press stuff, everything from, usually it's me organising interviews and not doing them. So organising all of the interviews, making the writer schedule, making sure that they go to TV interviews on time and other interviews on time, making sure that the writers know what to say if there's any difficult questions or if there's any topics that we want to talk about or don't want to talk about. And then I'm also doing all of the social media for the team as well, because in Motogp generally the teams for everything, for engineers, for PR, for marketing, is much smaller than say in Formula One. So we have to wear a couple more hats.
Mm-hmm. Do you enjoy that, the fact that you get a bit more variety in your role?
For me, I like to do a lot of things. I enjoy the challenge of bouncing between things of 1 second speaking with a journalist to organise an interview, then quickly doing something for social media, then maybe handling some problem or something like that. For me, I quite enjoy that challenge for sure. Yeah.
What kind of path did you take into it? Because a lot of people ask us about this type of career, especially.
So my path was a little bit strange maybe. So I'm originally from Australia. I'm Australian, but my family moved to Europe when I was quite young, when I was about 13 years old for my dad's job. So I spent a lot of time in Europe, and I'd always watched motorcycle racing on TV and stuff like that, and thought, it'd be very cool, very fun, very enjoyable to come and work here. So that was always a little bit of a target in the back of my mind, was trying to arrive here. I knew that for sure I was 100% not going to be a rider, but this was, of course, way out of the possibilities. I was almost certainly never going to be an engineer or a mechanic because, my math is okay, but beyond Solve X, it gets a bit sketchy. And then I was a kid who was on the computer a lot and on the internet a lot. So when things like Twitter and all of this started coming, it was quite natural for me to do that just naturally, through my own passions and things like that. So I guess I understood how all of these social medias and stuff worked. So then that sort of gave me the direction that I could probably do something with more with the press side than anything else. So throughout school and then university, I always sort of tried to pursue a job here as sort of not quite a hobby, but as a background thing. So I went to university to do law. So technically I have a law degree, which I use absolutely zero of. But I think for a lot of people, working in motorsport is a big passion. And for me, I'm quite a realistic, maybe a little pessimistic guy that for sure it'd be really nice to work here, but I'm not sure if it's always super possible. So that's why I did law, was to have something that I knew 100%, okay, I have a degree in this. It might not be a super fun job, but at least
it pays the bills.
Yeah, it would pay the bills, and being a lawyer hopefully pays the bills pretty well. So that was definitely a bonus. That I could do that if this whole motorsport thing didn't work out. And then luckily it did. And when I was 15, 16, I'd write to, then it was 125 teams, but write to Moto3 teams and say hey, this is me, this is what I do, blah blah blah. If you need somebody to do your Twitter in English, I'll do it if you give me one pass for a race or something like this. So I started doing things like that, and again, I was in a very fortunate position to be able to work for free, because for sure there's lots of people who are not in this position. And then I started working for small, not very fast teams, and then got better and better slowly, and just kept working hard, kept focusing on it, and then eventually saw a LinkedIn job on LinkedIn from Dorna, so I applied for that, and then So certainly from my side, from the PR and press side, lots of people go do 1 or 2 years at Dorna, and then they learn a lot of things, and then that definitely helps a lot to be attractive to teams for sure.
Yeah. Would you say that MotoGP or just general motorbike racing gives you the opportunity to say, I can offer to do Twitter in English, is something that gives people an opportunity to get into it, as opposed to, say, for example, four-wheeled motorsports, where the working language tends to be English?
Yeah, I'd say definitely for two-wheeled motorsport, Italian and Spanish are definitely the two predominant languages. So yeah, in some ways you do have a bit of an advantage of being able to offer English services, because for better or for worse, the international language is English.
Yep.
So for sure, if you're a native English speaker or your level of English is really good, that can be something you can use to your advantage. Of course, then you come here and there are maybe some disadvantages to not being a Spanish or an Italian native speaker, but it's like anything. There's some positive points and some negative points.
Cool. This is a great question actually that came to us today.
Yeah.
What are some of your normal worries and malfunctions in your career? Like, what are the kind of things that often go wrong?
Like in my day-to-day life, in my day-to-day job.
Yeah.
So many things go wrong. I mean, working in PR and doing all this sort of stuff is very easy to plan for when things go right, but like you make your money when things go wrong. But I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong. Like you name it, and anything can go wrong. It's like yesterday we were doing our photo shooting in there, and Donna broke the bike. So it's like, this is something that is hugely wrong, and like it's something that honestly I did not think like could happen. Or a rider is late, so you have to delay all of your media things and all of your sponsor things. This is something that is super common. Or a rider says something that they shouldn't say about what we are trying on the bike. There's so many small things that can go wrong at almost any time. Or I remember when I started this job, my contract started January 1st. My contract started January 1st, and on January 8th, Jorge Lorenzo, who's one of our riders, broke his wrist while training. So I'd not like been to any races or anything, and I had to.
It was your second Monday.
Yeah, exactly, second Monday, and have to try and create a plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like any job is, you do it for long enough and you learn the process, or you look around and see what other people have done well or not done well, and then you try and formulate a plan and try and hope that it works. But no, PR is dealing with problems. I mean, I find it quite exciting. It's quite nice when things. I mean, also it's quite shit, but it's in a way it's quite nice. It's quite exciting when things go wrong.
What career advice would you give? Like, if you had a pearl of wisdom to share with young people.
Wow, a pearl of wisdom.
Actually, there's a lot of people in our following who may be interested to the social media.
Yeah. So on that front, I'd say be really careful with your social media and what you post, because social media can really help you a lot if you are using it well and showing that you know how the platforms work. But social media can also really hurt you, depending on what you are posting of yourself. Is lots of teams, when a rider or a driver gets hired, that rider and driver needs to have a certain image as well as the results, right? Like if you see that they're constantly out drinking or out smoking, like this is not what sponsors want. And the same is true if you're going to come and work for a big team. And
I guess if you're working in comms and PR and social media, that is kind of like your audition. That's your proof that you know how to handle yourself. Exactly.
So if a team does see that you're posting like completely crazy things of you, like doing drugs or drinking or just how you present yourself on social media, if that's not in line with what the team wants, is coming here and working in motorsport is super, super competitive. There's 10,000 people who would happily, kill my mother to take my job. And it is those small differences that could be. Maybe there was somebody who was more qualified than me to do this job, but they posted some ridiculous selfie, or when they were 14 they put "fuck Marc Marquez" on their Twitter or something, and then unfortunately for them that's the thing,
What are the usual questions we ask? I'm having a
fun one.
Yeah, we do have fun questions.
Fun question.
If you could take anybody else's job in the team, what job would you want to do?
Well, I don't know.
Assuming that you also have
would be
automatic...
competent at it.
Exactly.
Would be good at it. I mean, obviously being the rider would be quite good.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things. The grass is always greener on the other side, right? If you're a rider, there's a lot of pressure. Well, I don't know. Maybe like team manager or something like this. I think this would be quite interesting to do. Yeah, either team manager or a rider, but a lot of stress for both of those. So I don't know.
What kind of things do you like the most about your job and the team?
For me, I really like I really like working in competition, working in sport. I think that it's a really unique field and a really unique feeling to be part of something that is entirely focused on one goal, where there is something that is very clear if the job is being done well or if the job is being done bad. If you work at a advertising agency or whatever and you're designing graphics, was it your graphic that meant the ad didn't do well? Was it the copy on it? Is harder to see, but I find in racing is much more easy to see if something is good or not, and it's also very exciting. We do all of these things for whatever it is, for half an hour, 45 minutes on Sunday, and you definitely get a thrill that your week, your month, your year can either be very, very good or very, very bad due to these small exciting moments in the grand scheme of things. So for me, I really like the competition of it, and everything here is a competition. The riders are competing, press officers are competing, social media people are competing. For me is motivating. Yeah. For sure, for some people maybe they don't like that, but for me personally, I'd say that's what it is.
Okay, and this is the most torturous question.
Most torturous question.
Yeah, everyone's like, why did you ask this?
Okay, hit me.
Okay, can you badly describe your job in 5 words and then accurately describe it in 3?
Can I badly describe it in 5 words? And accurately describe it in 3? Okay, badly describing. He just does the tweets. He just does the tweets. I'd say is the bad one. And then good. Well, 3 words for good. Controls the message, maybe? I don't know. 3 words is hard.
Yeah, that's quite good.
Right. 3 words is hard.
That's probably one of the best ones we've had, the most accurate 3-word accurate description.
Yeah, I guess that's probably it. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it makes me seem a bit more like puppet master than I am. But no, those are good questions, right? Those are tricky ones.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much for
your time. No worries.